2.405.
All right, let's take a look at that. So if you watched my video last week on my channel about the Gen 4 here, you'll see some similarities, but one big difference is that this car just does not get the rotation under throttle that the Gen 4 does. And that's because of the horsepower, obviously, but we'll see what we have to do because of that. So our run-up is going to be fairly similar to what you always see at Richmond here. We're going to be doing first lap here, and we're just going to be kind of driving it easy, braking drag, dragging brake, yeah. And then once we get to the apex of this corner, we turn down the hill with partial throttle. So we start turning down the hill and we try to make as straight of an exit as possible. And this is very important for the run-up because this really gets you a lot of time. So I'm right up by the wall. Once we hit the center of the corner, I just turn all the way down the track, full throttle, straighten out the wheel, and make a straight line exit. All right, so now we're going to be going to turn 1 here. And the big thing about these corners is that you want to get your early entry so that you get to the bottom. So you can see that I have a really early entry. And why is this? Well, these cars I feel like are pretty hard to make the bottom with. So if we kind of move our braking zone up to here, the brake bias that you would need to rotate it down here just does not allow for the car to not spin out. So if we are braking really late and trying to get to the bottom, we lose our rears. But if we brake really late and hit the middle, we lose a ton of time waiting for the car to weight shift back down the track. So what we have to do is just brake really, really early. And let's see, that was about 30%-ish, 20 to 30%. And I'm just making sure that I'm not spinning the rears here, and I'm just getting to the yellow. And now here's the difference between the B-Fixed and the Gen 4, is that once you're at the yellow, we cannot use that gas pedal to rotate the car. It just won't work. It won't happen. So what we just have to do is kind of wait on the bottom until we can see daylight. So you see, I got to partial throttle, which was pretty good at staying to the yellow line. And then I don't go full throttle until I really see that whole straightaway ahead of me. This little bit of angle right here, I can manage with full throttle. But if I was, say, even right here, I cannot manage this angle with full throttle. So make sure that you really can kind of see the straightaway in this combo before going full throttle. And you see we gave up a little bit of time back because I really wrapped the bottom instead of going for a little bit more of an arc, but it was still pretty darn fast. So 3 and 4, same deal here. We're going to brake at about 30 to 40%. And we're going to brake really early too, because again, 3 and 4 hitting the yellow is almost even more important than hitting the yellow in 1 and 2. Because the way that 3 and 4 works is that we can hit the mark, wait at the bottom, and then just drive straight up the track. So this line here is a lot faster in terms of time than if we entered like in the middle and then kind of came up, because we can gas at pretty much the same time at Richmond just because of the angle of it coming off the turn 4. Okay, so you can see here, we'll do it without pausing here for one time. So brake, drag the brake, get to the yellow, wait. And then we start picking up the throttle. And as we get off the corner, no full throttle until I see daylight pretty much. Same idea as turn 1 and 2. It just does not like to turn if you can't really see where you're going, as opposed to the Gen 4 car, you can rotate your car under throttle. So we got to the yellow and we really waited a super long time. I wait until I can see these yellow barrels right here. If I can't see those yellow barrels, I know that I still have to wait, even though I've been down there. Now, can you throttle up earlier? You can, but you are going to be holding that partial throttle longer because you have actually a worse angle that you're going to give yourself by sliding up the track, as opposed to just gradually coming up the track if you wait a little longer. So this is more consistent, it's easier, and it probably gives you time overall because of the opportunity of carrying the speed on exit by straightening out the exit. All right, so now we got those lines for the hot lap. Now let's go to the race run. All right, let's do a little bit of long run here. So I don't know how much long run you're going to see, especially if you're running this at the beginning of the week. Usually towards the end of the week at Richmond, you find some cleaner races, but in general, you're going to get a lot of cautions, and I'm not sure how many more or how many runs you're going to get over 20 laps. But in the meantime, we can talk about what lines you want to take in the event that you get a long run. So I really like just getting to the bottom and sticking by it. I'm going to use a little brake bias just to get to the bottom here. Kind of just wait at the yellow, partial throttle, and then don't go full throttle until you can get the wheels straight. I went a little too early there, that's why I got so loose. We'll do it again in 3 and 4, just hold it by the yellow for a long time. And then just partial throttle it up the track, and then full throttle when you're straight. 22.653. Early braking. It's going to be really hard to get this early brake in when you have a lot of pressure and traffic. So if you need to adjust your line for what situation you're in, that's all good, but this is kind of when you have a little bit of room and you're worried about saving tire. I just like that early entry, kind of just ride by the yellow line. Very good at saving the tires. This isn't the fastest thing in the world. I think some people will be hot lapping it a little faster than this, like you saw what my laps were earlier. I was a little bit too early on the throttle, which caused me to get tight. This B car, if you raced the Gen 4 car last week, you can see that it's not rotating as much on throttle as it was in the Gen 4 car, which is causing me to want to get on the throttle a little bit earlier, but that's like one of the big pitfalls of this B-Fix car, is you just want to stay on the brake a little longer. See how I stayed on it a little longer, and I'm going to just get it all back on exit. So you get on the brake, now let's watch. I'm going to stay on a little longer, give it about half a tenth, and then just get it all back and more on exit. See. So if you have been racing the Gen 4 car on this, I recommend you stay on the brake just a little bit longer than you think you need to. That was what I was struggling with too at first, but that's just how this car is compared to the Gen 4 car. It's got power, but it doesn't quite have the looseness under throttle because of the horsepower that the Gen 4 has. So you're going to have to use other means for rotation. And then also, like the Gen 4 car, the line might start going a bit up the track in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, I just always like the bottom of 3 and 4. I don't care where anyone goes, I just like this. Park it on the bottom, keep it by the yellow, and then drive it up off the track. But in 1 and 2, for instance, you might see people start kind of going a little wider here. Park it a little harder, turn it back down the track, and then make a straight line exit like this. And as you can see here, the times kind of even out. It's not that different. So it's all about what you're feeling in your car, what you're more comfortable with. I think just going straight to the bottom might be better for tires initially, but as the tires wear off and it's harder to get back on the throttle, it might be a very viable option just to do this a little bit wider, turn it back down the track, and then try to make a straight line at the exit. It's kind of like the hot lap line that we went over just now, but it's not quite as aggressive, and I guess that's how all lines are, but you can kind of mimic the line itself for pretty much the entire race. And then as you get along with the race too, you might find that you're getting tight on entry, and if that's the case, I would lower your brake bias. But I would be careful doing it when you're still in a pack, because that's kind of a sure way to get in a wreck, is if you're getting on the brakes and just spinning out because of it. Alright, we'll do one more lap here. Already fallen off quite a bit here. It already kind of feels like that second line might be good for me, just because the car gets pretty tight on the bottom. But 3 and 4, we'll do another lap here. So you see how I just have to way overslow the car in 3 and 4, and that's like not really even getting me much of a run off the corner. That's what I don't like about that second group in 3 and 4. But in 1 and 2, you can kind of get a lot straighter of a line here. So you see I really slow the car down, but I'm really focusing on exit, so it kind of evens out in that sense. But then 3 and 4, you just always want it by the yellow, I feel like. Oops. Well, that's a good place to end it. So we did probably not too many laps there. We'll check real quick. So we did 10 laps, 94, 96. So this is going to be a right front burner, so be very careful. A lot of that extra right front wear was from me getting on the gas a little too early because of my Gen 4 habits. So just make sure you're holding the brake a little longer than you think you need to, especially if you've been running the Gen 4 car. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.